Students, today we'll be dealing with two topics. The first will be the structure of the female reproductive part, that is about the pistil, also called carpel. Pistil or carpel together forms the gynecium, and the next we'll be talking about the structure of a megasporangium, or simply called ovule. Let us begin. Now you know that a typical pistil has three parts, very simple to understand. What are they? The stigma, style and ovary. The stigma acts as a landing platform for the pollen grains, and a long style connects the stigma with the basal part, that is the ovary, which is bulging. And all these structures, all those three structures rest upon this cup-shaped structure that is called thalamus. Now inside the ovary there is a structure which is called ovule, and ovule is called the megasporangium because the megaspore, which is the embryo sac, lies within this ovule, hence ovule is called megasporangium. I hope you remember the term microsporangium. Microsporangium bears the microsporangia, microspores, that is the pollen grains. Similarly, the megasporangium or the ovules bear the megaspore, the embryo sac. If we want to classify flowers based on the number of carpels, a flower may have only one carpel. In that case, it is called monocarpellary. The word mono means one, hence monocarpellary means only one carpel is present in the flower. If there are more than one carpels, that is called multicarpellary. Now, when more than one carpels are present, the carpels may be free, like this. This is one carpel, this is carpel number 1, carpel number 2 and carpel number 3. So when the carpels are free, it is called apocarpus. But when the carpels are fused, like here you can see, although the stigma and style are free, but the ovaries, three of the ovaries, they are fused together to form a single ovary. In that case, it is called syncarpus. So in multicarpellary flowers, the carpels or the pistils may be united, known as syncarpus, or may be free, known as apocarpus. Let me show you the diagram in your book. Now here you can see this is the pistil, stigma, style and ovary. Here you can see so many stigmas, yes and no. In 5 stigmas are there. That means there are 5 ovaries fused together. So this is actually an example of syncarpus. Okay. Now here this is also an example of syncarpus. Here even the stigmas are fused. So the stigmas and ovary both are fused. But look at this diagram number C or figure number C. You will find here the carpels are free. You can easily count the individual carpels. Hence, this is an example of apocarpus. Now, students, we will see the structure of an ovule. In your syllabus, the diagram which is given in your book is an example of anatropous or typical anatropous ovule. This is an anatropous ovule. However, I would like to suggest you that this diagram is not correct. Since in anatropous ovule, I will say you why. If you look at this diagrams, ovules are of different types, students. When this is called micropyle, I will tell you afterwards. This is the one micropyle. When the micropyle faces upwards, and this is called the funicle. So funicle on one side, funicle and micropyle are on the opposite side. Okay. When this happens, this is called orthotropous. This is called orthotropous. I will label it here. This is called orthotropous, though not in a syllabus. But when the micropyle and the funicle, when they lie almost close to each other in this region, this is called anatropous. In some plants, the micropyle, this is the micropyle and this is the funicle, they lie at right angle to each other. When this happens, this is called hemitropous. Hemitropous. Look at this diagram number D. In diagram or figure number D, the micropyle is, this region is slightly curved. Yes. So when this is curved, when they lie at a right angle, it is hemitropous. When it is slightly curved, it is called campylotropous. And in figure E, you can see that the funicle actually loops. It forms a loop like this. Long funicle that loops over this micropyle. This is the micropyle. Okay. It loops all over the micropyle. In this case, it is called Sercinotropous. anatropous. In your syllabus, these details are not given. You have to just concentrate on this type of ovule, which is called the anatropous. So now I will show you the detailed structure of an anatropous ovule. Now before that, students, let me tell you one thing, that I talked about that there is a structure called ovary. In a flower there is a structure called ovary, and if I make a transverse section of ovary, what do you find? You can find structures like this. So this is a TS transverse section of an ovary. Not all transverse section will look like this. This is one example. Now when I made a section of an ovary, a transverse section, you can find there are some chamber. Okay, this is chamber number 1, chamber number 2, chamber number 3. There are 3 chambers in this seen in the TS of this ovary. These chambers are called ovarian locule, or locules is the plural, ovarian locules. In this chamber you can find these small structures hanging or suspended in these chambers. These small structures are nothing but the ovule, also called the megasporangium. Megasporangium. So I hope you can relate the structure. Yes and no? I talked about the ovary. If I make a section of the ovary, inside that you can find certain structures called the certain gaps or certain places called the ovarian locule, and within this ovarian locule are suspended the structures which are nothing but the ovule. Okay, so I have drawn here this entire ovule here. Okay, the details of an ovule. You look one thing, student. This ovule is suspended from a common place. This is the common place, and from this common place these ovules are suspended. This common place is called the placenta. It is called placenta. I hope you remember about placentation. The mode of arrangement of ovules inside the ovary is called placentation. There I talked about placenta and different types of placentation. Okay, so this is a kind of placentation called axial placentation, where there are different locules. Now this is the placenta. You notice another thing, students. This ovule is suspended with the help of this fine structure. Okay, this fine structure which is suspending the ovule. This fine structure which is suspending the ovule inside the locule. This fine structure is the funicle. F-U-N-I-C-L-E. Okay, so you can now correlate that what is ovary, what is ovule, what is placenta, and what is funicle. Very simply, this is a section of a transverse section of an ovary. There you find these small structures. It can be 1 in some plants, it can be 2 in some plants. So here I have shown a typical example. These are the ovules. Ovules are suspended from the placenta through funicle. Now if I just take one ovule from this diagram and draw it bigger, so this is the entire ovule. Okay, and this is the most important diagram from this chapter. You must practice it very well. Let us see the structure, the different parts of an ovule. So I have drawn here an anatropous ovule. Remember I talked about anatropous ovule. In anatropous ovule, the micropyle, this opening is a micropyle, and this is the stalk. This is the stalk, which is actually this stalk, the funicle, which is hanging the funicle. Funicle is the stalk which hangs the ovule inside the ovarian locule. Okay, so this stalk is the funicle. So when the funicle and this opening called the micropyle, they are present close to one another, this is called anatropous ovule. Let us draw the details. So a typical ovule has a stalk. The stalk is called as F-U-N-I-C-L-E, funicle. Okay, the funicle is the stalk which hangs the ovule, also called the megasporangium, into the ovarian locule or in the ovary simply. Now this structure, this funicle, fuses with the ovary. Sorry, the ovule. This is the ovule, and this is the funicle. The funicle fuses at this point. The funicle of the stalk fuses with the body of the ovule at this point. So this point is called H-I-L-U-M, or hilum. Okay, hilum or hilum, you can say. Hilum or hilum is a point of attachment, the point of attachment of the funicle with the ovule. Very simple. Hilum is the point of attachment of the funicle with the body of the ovule. Correct. Now you can see that each ovule has 1 or 2 protective envelopes. If this is the ovule, there is one envelope. This is one protective envelope, this second protective envelope on either side, 1 2, here also 1 and 2. This is somewhat bit more wide. So we have two protective envelopes covering the ovule. So these protective envelopes are called integuments. Integuments. So we have two. So we'll label them as the outer integument. So this is the one which is present on the outer side. This one. So we'll call this as outer integument, and the one which is present on the inner side, so this will be inner integument. Okay, so this ovule is covered by outer integument and inner integuments. These integuments later give rise to the seed coat. This ovule later forms the seed, and these integuments form the seed coat. You see another structure, student. This integuments, they enclose the ovule completely, yes or no, except at this region. The integuments, they enclose the ovule except at this region. So this opening is called the micropyle. MICROPYLE, a very important term, micropyle. Micropyle actually it is the opening through which the pollen tube enters into this ovule. Okay, so micropyle. Now opposite to the micropyle, this is also called micropylar end. This region is called micropylar end. Opposite to the micropyle, this region is called the chalaza. Chalaza, also called chalazal end. Correct. Now enclosing within these integuments, there is a region. I have shown them as dotted region. This dotted region is called the nucellus. A very important term, nucellus. One is this micropyle, is very important term. Another is the nucellus. Nucellus is actually a mass of cells which has abundant food reserves. It has abundant food reserves, and nucellus provides nourishment to this embryo sac. This structure, this entire structure is called the embryo sac. Okay, embryo sac have some other details. We'll see these details in the next video. I will show you. This embryo sac is called the female gametophyte or the megaspore. This is the megaspore. This is a megasporangium because the megaspore or the embryo sac is present within this megasporangium or the ovule. So the female gametophyte, the female gamete is this one. I will see this in the next video. The fifth female gametophyte is present in this structure. So this is a female gametophyte or the embryo sac. Students, I hope you have understood this, the labeling, this diagram. This is very important. Practice it. You can see my video once again, and if you have any problem, you can contact me. In my next class, we will see how this megaspore, this embryo sac develops. That is the process of megasporogenesis. Thank you.